is God's Kingdom on Earth, an historical overview. And today we celebrate first Coronation Day, coronation ceremony for the kingship. That was in 2001. And also we celebrate Foundation Day. That was Foundation Day, it was 2013, and it marks the establishment of the Kingdom of Heaven on Earth, or Chonilguk, as we say. Kingdom of Heaven on Earth, that has been the dream of all ages. The dream is to live with God here on earth. That's what people have been wishing for and longing for all history. So why do we learn about history? This is an historical overview. Well, Old Testament and New Testament, that's our roots. It's Judaism and it's the teaching of Jesus. Because if we know about our roots, we know more about it, we get a deeper understanding. So it all started with Israel. 10 commandments, laws and rules. And the first 5 or 4, it says here, it's about God, how we relate to God. And the rest is how to relate to man. But then Jesus came and he said, God's kingdom is near. He gave a sermon on the mount and he presented the 8 beatitudes, saligprisningar in Swedish. So they are also arranged in this way. He said, blessed are the poor in spirit, those who mourn, those who are meek, not weak. And it's organized in the same way. It's a relationship with God and a relationship with man. And in this beatitude, like Jesus answers the question, what's the quality of my being that would allow me to live in the kingdom now? Not in the afterlife, like now. Because the Jewish people, they didn't care so much about what happens when we die. I know of a Jewish lady who asked her rabbi, like, what happens when we die? You know, I heard all these Christians, they talk, we go to heaven, you know, it sounds wonderful, but where I'm going, you know, I'm a Jewish. And the rabbi, he like, didn't really know what to answer, but then he said, no, we go to the bosom of Abraham. So she was not so inspired by that. So actually she became a Christian, you know. But anyway, in classic Judaism, afterlife is not emphasized because they are just not thinking in this way. But Jesus' answer was the Beatitudes. And it's like an instruction manual. You have to note that these are not commands like in the Old Testament, but more blessings. And what does blessing means? In Hebrew, it doesn't mean, oh, you will be happy ever after, this is the good end. It means you're in the right place, you're in a good place, because here God can work. You can be with God here. So let's go through them one by one. I have to first say that I think you can look at the Beatitudes in different ways, but one way to look at them is like a ladder. You take one step at a time, and it's a way to grow spiritually, and it's actually like a blueprint. So we start from the very bottom. Poor in spirit. That's the opening phrase. We are the empty ones. That sounds a bit depressing. But of course this in the spiritual sense, because we first must empty ourselves. Like why? Why do we have to be empty? So we can receive. If we are full of ourselves, I mean, we don't need anything else, you know. and this, what True Mother says, we have to realize that we cannot do anything without God. So we need God. So we can't be like this, like only trust ourselves, because if we only trust ourselves, we have really no need for God. And the second point is that I think is even more important. If my spirit and soul and brain are all clogged up with guilt, shame, and anxiety, God cannot speak through that kind of fear. His small, still voice doesn't reach us because all the fear makes so much noise within ourselves. So this becomes a blockage. So we have to get rid of all the problems within. So that's why we have to empty ourselves, give all our problems to God, because God actually wants to have our problems. He's not like another human. No, I don't want to hear about your inner difficulties. But God is the opposite. He really wants to take over everything. So let's use that. So give all our problems to God, because an empty vessel is able to receive. So the first point here, get empty. And that leads us to the second one. Blessed are they that mourn, because they shall be comforted. So mourn, this is a difficult one. It's not the sadness like, oh, I hurt my foot, or I don't have money, or anything. No, what kind of sadness is Jesus talking about? So this is the Jewish understanding. In the Old Testament it says, the hearts of the wise are in the house of mourning. So what does this? It means the wise, they don't go to parties and celebrate, share joy with other people. No, they go to funerals. Because they go, no, but it sounds strange, but the Jewish, really, but they are a bit strange, but that's how we can learn from them. Yeah, I like Jewish people. Yeah, no, go and be sad with the people, because mourning ultimately is caring for other people, care for others and their problems. So we should be sad over the state of the world, be sad and long for something else, because this is communal. Because in this way we can connect to true parents' sorrow. What breaks Heavenly Parents' heart? And this is exactly what True Father said. He asked the question, what should I do for my tragic homeland? It was on Easter Day. And he was sad and he was mourning. And he actually got the mission to do heaven's work. So we have to be also careful what we ask for, because we might get a mission like True Father. But anyway, we should get sad and long for a better world and ask God about it. The next one is meek. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Meek. This has been so misunderstood, because meek is not a wimpy kind of person, It's not to be weak or quiet or shy. But the scriptures has a completely different view. So let's take Moses as an example. Moses. Did you know he actually married a black African woman? He did. Ethiopian. Yeah. And Aaron and Miriam, they didn't like this at all. They came to him and they accused him. Why did you do this? This is completely wrong. And not only that, why is it only that you, Moses, can speak to God? We can speak also. I am godly. We don't actually always need you. I can do the job, And then it says like this. Moses was very meek above all men on face of the earth. So he was, in the whole world, he was numero uno in meekness. Yeah, that says something. So, and what did Moses do? Did he show frustration? Did he show anger? No. Very quickly, God appeared. God himself defended him. So he did not like how they spoke to Moses. And I have to say, God didn't mind the black woman, the African woman at all. That was not a problem. And God said like this to Aaron and Miriam, I speak to him not in dreams or visions. With him I speak face to face, clearly, not in riddles. And of course this was a shock for Miriam and Aaron. So actually Miriam got leprosy. Yeah, but Moses saved the situation. He cried out. So everything, you don't have to worry about Miriam. She got healed. Yeah, but this is how a meek man responded. Like Moses was very, very powerful. He had a lot of inner strength, but it was under control. He had a mental power. Kings in the ancient world, in the East, they used to describe themselves as mighty but meek. And what did they mean? It meant they had great power but used it under control. Like they had the weapons, but they didn't use them. So this is completely different meaning than just being humble. I would say it's like mental power. So next one, it's hard to see here, but blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. So this is a desert in Palestine. You know, Israel, they have a desert climate. And the people who listened to Jesus, they knew what hunger and thirst were. You know, we might not know that in Sweden or in Europe, but they really knew. Like, they had to fight for both food and water every day. And the thing is, you have to eat and drink every day. Not just occasionally, but every day. And what do we pursue? Pursue righteousness. Righteousness. In Hebrew, it's tzedek. Do what is right. Know the heart of God to be like him. So, yeah, basically it is to know God. And when shall we do this? Yeah, they say, to continue every day. Don't give up, don't be lazy. So never stop. Never. It's a Marabou thing, yeah. We all know that. And the next one, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. This is to be concerned about somebody in need, to relieve the misery of others. So merciful is a feeling. You feel it and then you do it. But in classic Judaism, like you see it, but not necessarily feel it, you just do it. So you see some need and you do it. And it's more like an action than a feeling. It's like proactive. And then I have a story about myself. You know, when I was around 12 years old, I visited my grandfather in Västervik. It's the same city where Hans comes from. Yeah, and of course my family on my mother's side, they come from there, and I visited my grandfather. And of course he was very happy. And when the grandchild often comes to grandparents, you give them money, you know. So I got money from my grandfather. So I don't think it was that much, you know, perhaps 20 crowns or something, but that was a lot at this time, yeah. So I was rich. I thought it was fantastic. And then I was out walking, and it was this Salvation Army. And they were standing there with a collection box. Have you seen this? I think in the older days it was much more common than today. And something struck me, They were collecting money for people in need. And I felt I had all this money. Wow. And what shall I do? So I have to make a choice. And it really struck my heart. And actually, I remember it was difficult, to give money. But you know what I did? I gave everything. Everything. I was like, I had no money left, And, and I remember that something changed within me, So I wasn't sad that I had, perhaps I was sad, I was in a little bit of a crisis before I gave the money, but afterwards I became all calm. So something changed in me. So this somehow became a habit, not always to give out money, but somehow God got a foothold in my heart. So the point is here is if you give mercy, you will receive mercy. It's like a ripple effect. And we all need mercy in our lives. So I rephrase that to just do good. That's a good rule. So blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Now, this is getting interesting. Why is it that the pure in heart shall see God? This is what it says in the Old Testament. Man looks at the outward appearance, but Lord looks at the heart. God looks at the heart. Because God wants to meet us in the heart. He wants to have a relationship with you, a personal relationship. He wants to live together with you. A pure heart is like, it's something that is not contaminated. It's unconditional. It's not that you do something and you have hidden motives. It's just, you just do something because God is leading you. And another way to put it is like being a nerd. But in a good way. Yeah. Kind of obsessed and different. And really not caring too much what other people say. It's a kind of single-mindedness. No other distractions. It doesn't matter what people around you do or think. You just do it. And the great promise is that, yes, I will always see God in front of me, guiding me in my daily life. So this is really a high point on this path. So be single-minded. And of course, this means to be single-minded for God. Yeah. So, next one, peacemaker. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Said here in the Old Testament, turn away from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. So this is not an easy thing. Overcome evil with goodness. But as Mother says, peace starts with me. Peace starts in the most basic place, in our hearts. Then in homes and families, and spreading out to neighborhoods and communities and the world. It's the absence of anxiety and dread. So, and even in the midst of conflict, you can feel this peace. And I would say it's the primary description of Kingdom of Heaven. So we take this from True Mother. Peace starts with me. Next one. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the Kingdom of Heaven. Now this is a hard one, because our movement experiences this now. There are, as I see it, there are two ways to look at it. First, Jesus also said, pray if you are persecuted, pray for them, because then you are there are children of your Father in heaven. So in Jewish tradition, if I say, yes, to be somebody's child, it's to have the same characteristics. So if I am my father's child and I act like him, then you cannot prove that, yes, this is your father. And if you pray for our enemies, it's really the utmost best proof that God is my father. Nobody can doubt it, like all the people around you, both in heaven, all the angels, all the ancestors. Yes, this person is good, praying for the enemies. And this is what true Father has to say about it. So he totally agrees, by the way. Let's look at the standard of love established by God. How much did God love his own enemy? God loves his enemy so much that he sacrificed his own son in order to save his enemy. If you can pour out such unlimited, unconditional love for your enemy, then Satan will give up and say, I could never do that. I could never be in a position to receive such love. At that point, Satan will surrender and retreat. So it's a perfect way to get rid of Satan, actually. Yeah. Another way to look at it, go directly here, live fiercely, because we can now live fearlessly. We have walked up all these steps. We have gone through the whole process, and at this point we know Heavenly Parents, we have peace, God is guiding us, so we actually are able to live without fear. It doesn't affect us anymore. It's kind of too late. We are already fearless. Yes. Oh. So this is a victory. But there's always a but. Have you noticed that? Yeah, always a but. Here comes the but. Yeah. So Bogdan Palmer, he spoke last Sunday. We should get off the bus of religion. This is what True Mother says. And he showed these pictures. Yeah. Get off the bus, yeah, of religion. Yeah. So what does this mean? Should we throw all this away? Like, was this sermon a complete, like, no need? I think no. We shouldn't throw all the insights from centuries back away, but because God still exists, Heavenly Parents still exist. But we can use this in an alternative way. Beatitudes can also be a creative process, because we are all co-creators with God. It's a universal pattern. And by the way, this is completely inspired by Jamie Winship. He's a Christian, but he's already kind of off the bus of religion, so I like him. Oh. So how to be creative? First you have to, by the way, I do not have to be an artist like Linnea. You know, you can use it in all kind of ways in your life, because even in our daily lives we need to be creative and find new solutions. So the first step here is to get empty, get rid of all the problems and worries, all the lies that we are telling ourselves about who we are. And why do we get empty? So we can receive. So we can receive inspiration from God. And we can use all our intuition, all our imagination. That's okay. We can be free but get empty and receive. So, and the next point, get sad and long for a better world. Like, what can I do? What is my mission? And what do I really feel sad about in the world? Because what you feel sad about, that could be your calling to change in the world. You need to have mental power. Don't get weak or frustrated. because we already know what to do. We can go in one direction and we can focus. And never stop. Every day continue. Because if you stop, then you get lazy and then it's like kind of no fun anymore. So just continue. And do good. Both give and receive kindness. Also to yourself. Because if we are not kind to ourselves, then we cannot give it away. We have to create a loving atmosphere. And be single-minded. Like, don't get distracted. Just be focused and like be a nerd. I like being a nerd. And peace starts within. So you need this. If you don't have peace in this process, then something is wrong. And if something is wrong here, what do? Well, you can go back down the stairs and until you kind of realign yourself, and then you can walk up again. And the last step, live fearlessly. Because if you have gone through this process, really nothing can stop you. You can paint a painting or start a company or doesn't matter what other people say. You can truly live without fear. You are unstoppable. So in this way, by using the Beatitudes as a creative process, we can live a life that resembles God, how God wants us to live in the kingdom of heaven on earth, already now. We don't have to die to realize this. We can realize it today. That's the message of the Beatitudes. Thank you.